Okay, hi team, I hope you're all well. Today we are doing a totally random 24-hour reading challenge. It is Monday the 15th, it's currently 25 to 5 in the evening, and I've just started sprints with my patrons. I've just been having a fucking chaotic minute with videos and what the fuck I'm doing, because I'm very stressed and I've got a lot of stuff going on. So I've just calmed myself down. They are sweet angels and I would not be able to do life without them, so shout out to my patrons, thanks for that. But I have now completed Winterween Box and the final book support group, which I had that big stack of books for, and I smashed it. I'm really happy, but I do still have this stack of books to get through for the month of January, and I thought it would be fun while I'm at home for the next few days, because I have tonight, I've had all day today but I've been working. I've got tonight, tomorrow and Wednesday at home. I thought that we could do a 24-hour timer challenge, an impromptu one, trying to get through as many of these books as possible. So obviously I do still have Way of Kings on here. I'm not going to attempt to do these at all in the slightest. I'm not even going to try. They will be next week's me problem, so I'm not going to do them. So that does leave me left with Done and Dusted by Lila Sage, Jasper Vale by Devney Perry, Bloodlands by Stacey Marie Brown, and The Couple Next Door by Shari Lapina. I also have the ebook Criminal Intentions by Cole McCade, which was picked by a patron of mine, Nina, to get to, but I reckon that this is going to be enough for me. So we'll see how far I can get through these. If I do finish these off, I will start Criminal Intentions and then I can continue it in the January monthly vlog. But yeah, this is what I'm going to attempt. So I thought it would be fun to try that out. So I am going to start off with Done and Dusted while I'm just finishing some little bits off with work, and then I will continue it this evening. So this one says she's off limits but he's never been good at following the rules. Discover the sizzling brother's best friend small town romance that went viral on TikTok. For the first time in her life, Clementine Emmy Ryder has no idea what she's doing. She's accomplished everything on her to-do list. She left her small hometown of Meadowlark, Wyoming, went to college and made a career for herself, but doing her favourite things, riding horses. But after an accident makes it impossible for her to get back into the saddle, she has no choice but to return to the hometown she always wanted to escape. Luke Brooks is Meadowlark's most notorious bad boy, bar owner and bachelor. All the bees. He's also the unofficial fifth member of the Ryder family. Unofficial fifth member of the Ryder family. As Emmy's older brother's best friend, Luke spent most of his childhood antagonising her. It's been years since he's seen her, but when she walks into his bar and back into his life, he can't take his eyes off her. Against his better judgment, he wants to do a whole lot more than just look at her. As things between Emmy and Brooks heat up, it gets more difficult for him to keep his hands off her. Can he help her get her spark back, or will they both go up in flames? Sign me up. I love Brother's Best Friend, and this was for the prompt of choose a book which has the word "and" in the title, and it was gifted to me by Kay, so thank you so much, Kay, for gifting me this one. I got this one for my birthday, just gone. So that's what I'm going to start off this vlog with. So I am going to get myself started. I've got my iPad for my timer, and we are going to get into it and see how far through these books I can make it. Okay, howdy. Funny, just been reading a cowboy romance, so obviously howdy's where I went to first. It's a few hours later. It's 5 to 9. I was going to tell you it's 10 to 9. It's not, it's 5 to 9. And it is a few hours later. I have finished my first book of this challenge already, which is phenomenal. This was such a fast read, I'm not going to lie. We have got 20 hours and 54 minutes left on the clock. And I'm still sprinting with patrons. I think we might go for a couple more hours, we'll see. Maybe 1 or 2 more sprints. And this was for the prompt as well from my prompt cards. I've choose a book which has the word "and" in the title. I'm really glad I picked this one up. I was really looking forward to this one. Brother's Best Friend, cowboy romance, sign me up, absolutely perfect for me. Not only that, but the author's note at the beginning of the book does explain that Lila the author, has ADHD, and Emmy, our female main character, also has ADHD. And I am living for that. I'm really wanting to pick up more books that have ADHD representation in them. So I was really, really highly anticipating this. However, it fell a little flat for me, unfortunately. So there are a couple of reasons why it fell a little flat for me. First of all, Emmy is going back to her hometown after years and years of being away and being a professional horse rider. She has a really bad accident, and she just finds herself wanting to go back home, being around her family. Now, Luke is her brother's best friend, Gus's best friend, and she has grown up with him since she was a kid. And it turns out they have a little bit of I wouldn't say it's enemies to lovers, but they have a little bit of like it's not even rivals to lovers. They just, for whatever reason, don't get on. And we spot that in the first couple of chapters, but very, very quickly it turns completely on its head, and these two all of a sudden, they're spending a lot more time together. Luke is the guy that teaches people on her family's ranch how to horse ride. He teaches horse riding, and very quickly she tells him the reason why he's home. She won't tell her family, but she tells him the reason why she's home, that she had this injury and she's really struggling to get back on the horse. So he offers to help her out, and then they start spending more time together, and she starts opening up to him more, and very quickly this relationship develops and they start, you know, a relationship. So it happens really quickly, and even though it's brother's best friend and these two have known each other since they were kids, it felt a little bit insta-lovey, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like they dove in really, really head first. I feel like we got only a handful of chapters from the two of them in which we didn't really get to know them as characters separately before they were a couple. And I just didn't feel invested in them too much. I was more invested in Emmy than I was in Luke, but I didn't feel invested in them too much, and it really bothered me how insta-lovey it felt. Similarly, I wasn't invested in the brother's best friend department either. We got no, unless it was with the family, because Luke is part of their deemed part of their family. Unless they were at like family dinners or whatever, we got no chapters. We get like a Luke's chapter, it's multiple POVs, so we get Luke's chapter, Emmy's chapter. We got no chapters of just Luke and Gus hanging out and doing guy things and bromance things, you know what I mean? Like, we didn't get any of that, so I didn't feel like the stakes were high in the brother's best friend department. And despite the fact that, as always does with the brother's best friend, it blew up, I just didn't feel like I was invested in it because we didn't get any time with Luke and Gus. So I just wasn't invested in that side of it. I feel like the stakes weren't high enough. And it's just a real shame, really. I feel like had we just got some extra chapters of getting to know Emmy more as Emmy and Luke more as Luke before they became Emmy and Luke, and then some chapters with Luke hanging out with Gus, like, I don't know, watching a game, having a beer, looking after Gus's daughter. It was so easy to do, and we just didn't get any of that. Just something for me to cling on to and be like, okay, these two are bros and they are the best of friends. Do you know what I mean? And now the stakes are high and it's twitchy bum time anytime there's a chance they could be caught. Do you know what I mean? But there just wasn't that. And I'm sad about it. There were also a couple of times in here during the sex scenes. Now, I don't know if it's because of the audiobook or whether it's just that Luke's personality for me came across as being quite soft and really maybe sweet, I'm not sure, but then in the bedroom he became quite dominant, and I don't know, it didn't do it for me. It did not do it for me. I felt a little bit awkward during the sex scenes, which I don't know if that's ever happened to me, I'm not gonna lie. Some of the dialogue as well, there was a lot of dialogue in the sex scenes, and I don't know, it gave me the ick a little bit. That's never happened to me before. So yeah, I don't know. However, despite all of that, I think the thing that I was mostly invested in was the ADHD representation in this book. It was fantastic, and it was bound to be fantastic because Lila has ADHD herself, so she knows what she's talking about. It was really, really good. The ADHD representation here was fantastic. I saw myself so much in Emmy and some of the things she was talking about. There was even like, we got some internal dialogue from Emmy during a sex scene, which in of itself was less awkward for me than some of the external dialogue we got from the pair of them during the sex scenes, where she felt a little bit awkward with something they were about to do, and she kind of almost immediately shut down, and in her head she explained to us the reason why, and it made so much sense to me, and I was like, yeah, I get it, I get it. Don't get me wrong, Luke was a sweetheart as far as her ADHD was concerned, and seemed to very quickly be able to pick up on what it is that was going on with her and how exactly to help her through it, which was really, really nice to see, and I did enjoy that side of it. But again, it's all tied into the ADHD representation, and I did really like that. I think it was done really, really well. Also, Teddy, Emmy's best friend, love her. That friendship, I could have had a whole book just about Emmy and Teddy. That friendship was so good. That's what a fierce lady friendship looks like, and I loved it. This girl knows exactly how Emmy ticks. She knows everything about her, and I just loved that. Again, related to the ADHD, but she knows how her ADHD ticks and how certain fabrics make her feel weird. Bringing her different quilt covers because the ones that her brother has given her is not the right fabric for Emmy. She needs a different type of fabric. Same with the dress. Just different things like that. Really, really good. ADHD representation, 10 out of 10. The rest of the book, unfortunately for me, 3 stars. I will continue on with this series. I am intrigued enough to want to continue on with the series, but this was a little bit of a miss for me, and I'm a little bit sad about it, I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad I've read it. The representation was very, very good, and I'm intrigued to see if Lila brings more of it into the rest of the series or not. But yeah, 3 stars. I'm a little bit sad about it. It's my first 3-star of the year. It's my 11th book. It is what it is. But yeah, so I've read it now. It's done and dusted. But she's a comedian. So I have made the decision out of the next 3, I am going to go into Bloodlands next, because now this is the longest book that I have on here. Done and Dusted was the short, I don't know if necessarily in page count, but in audio book count, this was the smallest audio book. Bloodlands was the longest. So this one is book 5 in the Savage Lands series, and in this series we follow Brexley, who is the king and queen's ward. She is in love with their son and they are best friends, and her parents essentially were killed. Well, her mother was killed. We're not sure what's happened to her dad, and 20 years ago, during a Fae war where the walls broke down and the humans and Fae kind of live together now, Brexley is human. And she's now obviously a ward of the king and queen. But in order to get her kicks, she ends up jumping on the trains that run between the 2 lands, ferrying back and forth medication, food, etc, etc, and steals things off of these trains to put to the black market so that people that actually need them can get them for a decent price. And she ends up getting caught one day and put into a prison in which she has to like literally fight for her life physically, and she ends up catching the eye of a guy called Warwick Farkas. I had to think about that then because every single time I get it wrong. Warwick Farkas, she ends up catching his eye, and the story goes from there. I can tell you nothing else. I can tell you nothing that happens in this book because it's book 5 and I don't want to spoil anything. These books, albeit the writing is not the most literal masterpiece you're ever going to read. It's very similar to Zodiac Academy. It has crack in the pages and it's really, really good, very addictive. The cliffhangers in these books are very, very good as well, and I'm really enjoying myself with them, so I'm excited to continue on with this series. I have a very good time with it, and I feel like we knocked it up a gear with the last book, so I'm really intrigued to see how far this one goes. And then Shadowlands, which is the last in the series, is very chunky, so I will be reading that next month, but I really want to get to this one now. So very excited to get into this one. It is obviously fantasy romance. There is an element of dystopia in here as well, with there having been a war and Budapest, you know, being pretty much in ruin. So I'm excited. I'm gonna have a great time with this one, I just know it. So yeah, looking forward to getting into this one. This is what I'm gonna go into next. Wait, abort mission. I started the audiobook, got off a couple of pages in and was very, very confused. I don't think I've read this one yet. I am such a fucking dumb bitch. I'm gonna have to double, triple check this, but I don't think I've read this one yet. I'm such a dumb bitch, honestly. Book 4, that's what we're going into. Good afternoon. It is 1:45 on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. I usually do these on a weekend, so I'm confused as to my days. I was awake till 5 o'clock this morning. I was watching The Last Kingdom till 3 o'clock and then went to bed and promptly doom scrolled for 2 hours. So I'm a little bit mad at myself, but it is what it is. So now I've only just got up. I've nipped to the shop. I have my Monster to get me started, and we're gonna dive straight back into Badlands by Stacey Marie Brown. Last night I got to page 108, and this is definitely the right book. I cannot believe I started Bloodlands last night and it was the wrong fucking book. I was so confused, literally like the first 3 lines in, I was like, what in the fuck has gone on in the last book? Why can I not remember? Started this one, I was like, okay, yeah, no, this is definitely the right place. May have spoiled myself for a couple of things to come in that next book. But it is what it is, so nothing I can do about it now. It snowed here today, a lot. It's almost gone on the front of my house where like all the foot traffic is and the, you know, car traffic and stuff. But at the back, it's not been touched and it's so lovely. So I might do a few more bits of B-roll. Did not expect to see that this morning. We've got 19 hours and 35 minutes left. And I've got today and tomorrow. I'm hoping to kind of get through maybe 10 or 11 hours today. We will see. I was hoping to kind of do more like 12, to be honest, so that I only had a few hours left tomorrow. Maybe I could edit the video tomorrow as well. But I don't know if that's going to happen now, since it's already 1:45 in the afternoon. I mean, it could. We'll see. But I was thinking of doing sprints this evening. I'm going to see how I get on, but I have no intention right now of doing any sprints this afternoon. So it does mean that literally I can put this on, listen to audiobooks back to back, and I'm not pausing and stopping and starting and stopping and starting. So that's great news, because sometimes that can really slow me down, stopping and starting with sprints. So I'm going to get on and continue on with Badlands and see how long this takes me. It's 19:35 now. I'm 108 pages in. Let's see how long it takes me to get through this bad boy. Hello. Okay, it's much later in the day. It is 5:06. We have 15 hours, 16 minutes left on the clock. Would really like to get this to around 9 hours for tomorrow, if not less, but I don't know if that's going to be possible because it is already 5 o'clock. I have just finished Badlands by Stacey Marie Brown. This woman knows how to write a cliffhanger, let me tell you. I want to continue on with this series. Badly. Badly. And so the jokes keep coming. So I'm not going to do that, but I really, really want to because I now need to know what happens next. But this was good. I reckon this is going to get another 4.5 stars, which is what the third one got. Fairly certain that the first two, I can't remember what they got actually. Let me see if I can find out. Savageland's got 4. Wildlands got 4. Oh, Deadland's got 4 as well. Yeah, so I reckon this one's going to get 4.5 star. I need to run it through Call Pile before I make my decision. But yeah, this was really, really good. The cliffhanger, everything that happened towards the end. I don't know how Brexley's going to get out of this situation that she's in. I'm sure she'll find some way, but I'm not sure how. I just need to know what happens next. Also, there was mentions of druids in here as well. So if I don't manage to read In the Lives of Puppets before the end of March for our fantasy readathon, I will put this in its place for druids prompt. So next on my list is going to be The Couple Next Door by Shari Lapina, because I want to break up the romance a little bit. So I've had a contemporary romance, I have had a fantasy romance, now we're going to have a thriller, and then we're going to have a romantic suspense with this one. So yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to finish this today, albeit with the amount that I want to read, the hours I want to get down to today, maybe. This one is about some parents, a couple that go to a dinner party at their neighbours, and the neighbours say that they don't want their 6-month-old at the party, so they decide to leave the baby monitor, well, take the baby monitor with them. The husband says it'll be fine, she's only next door, we've got the baby monitor, don't panic. And then they come back and baby is gone. So I'm intrigued to see how this goes. They never call the police. Oh, sorry, you've never had to call the police before, but now they're in your home and who knows what they'll find there. It sounds really interesting. I'm aware that a TV series or movie has just been made from this as well. So I'm intrigued to watch that at some point once I've finished this one. But yeah, I'm intrigued about reading this one. I'm not going to give you my full thoughts on this one. I will give you my rating and that's about it, because I'm actually reading it for another vlog, and I only realised last night after I'd committed to doing this 24-hour readathon that that was a thing that I was doing. So I'm not going to give you my full thoughts on it because it's going to be featured in another vlog in a month or so's time, or a month or two's time. We'll see. I've got way too many vlogs going on at the moment and I need to read for them all. But it will be featured heavily in that one. So I will keep you posted, let you know what my full thoughts on it are in that vlog. But in this one, you're just going to get a rating from me because I am crossing over with 2 videos and I don't want to give you my full thoughts in 2 videos. That's just annoying for everyone involved. This is for the prompt of choose a book which is pre-loved. This is a second-hand book. So it counts for that prompt. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into this one. I think a thriller is going to be good for me today. I was debating whether or not to swap this out for something else. I mean, to be fair, I could read Cruel Intentions instead, because that is also on my TBR. But no, I'm going to stick with this one because I do need to get through it. I've got the audiobook from the library at the moment and my hold on that will run out at some point. So I do need to try and get through it. The audiobook isn't too long. It is 8 hours and 40 minutes. So hopefully it won't take me too long to get through this. But I'm looking forward to it. So let's get going. Okay, hello, we're in the kitchen. It's many an hour later. Again, it is currently 21 minutes past 9. I nearly said 1. I've got 11 hours and 32 minutes left on the clock. I feel like this timer is not going down, and this is the longest it's taken me ever to get through one of these timers, which is ridiculous because I've only been going since 1 o'clock today. So I've only been going for 8 hours today, and then I did a few hours last night, so I'm just being petty about it and dumb. I'm annoyed at myself for not getting up earlier. That's what's up with me. I am determined to do a few more hours, but I have just finished The Couple Next Door by Shari Lapina. This was okay. And that's honestly kind of all I'm going to tell you. I think I'm going to rate it 3 or 3.5 stars. I'll let you know at the end of the video what I end up rating it, because I've not put it through Corpile yet. But that's all I can tell you, because as I mentioned when I picked this up, I was supposed to come back and let you know. Because as I already mentioned when I told you I was picking it up, this is for another video. So I'm not going to give you my full thoughts on it, just a rating for the time being. My full thoughts will be in another video coming out at some point in the next month or two. So it's time to get on to my next read, which is Jasper Vale by Devney Perry. The audiobook is only going to take me about 4 hours to get through. And I have 11.5 hours left on the clock, so I'll probably end up picking up Cruel Intentions tomorrow, and then we'll have to see how much time I've got left on the clock and what time it is at that point as well, because I will be going to Andy's tomorrow evening about 6, half 6, so you know. This one is following Eloise Eden and also Jasper. Eloise Eden's pride and joy is her family's hotel in Quincy, Montana. Her lifelong dream is to own the Eloise Inn. All she has to do is prove to her parents that she's the epitome of responsible. That her days of being duped and making reckless decisions are history. She's so close she can taste it. Until after one weekend in Las Vegas, she comes home married to a stranger. Jasper must have put her under a spell with those soul-deep eyes, because after a single night together they woke up husband and wife. Her only hope is to keep this marriage a secret until it's annulled. Then she'll pretend it never happened. Except Jasper begs her to stay married, to fake it for 3 months so she can accompany him to a wedding. Maybe she's lost her mind to agree, but her brooding husband seems desperate. It's only 3 months, right? Then she'll say goodbye to Jasper Vale and with any luck, hello to her new hotel. I freaking love this series. This is the 4th one in the series. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4th one in the series. And I do have Crimson River and Sable Peaks now as well. So the next 2 in the series. And I just love this series. I'm really sad that I didn't get to this one in December, so I could be picking up Crimson Peak this month. My intention was to read one a month, but I just didn't get a chance to get to this one. So we'll be reading it this month. But yeah, I'm really excited to be reading this one because I love these books. I have a really good time with them, so I'm hyped. So I'm going to get into this one. I still want to try and get myself down to about 9 hours for tomorrow if I can, because it's going to be a really freaking long day, which means I've got like 2.5 hours left to go. I don't think I'll end up watching any of The Last Kingdom today, which is a shame. Unless I force myself to go upstairs and watch them on my iPad, which will at some point force me to go to sleep because I'll already be in bed. My problem is when I'm downstairs is that I can't stop watching, and it might be the same issue upstairs in bed, but because I'll be in bed I may get tired quicker, so hopefully that's the case anyway. Either that or I'll just continue reading. We'll see what happens. So maybe I'll get about halfway through this tonight, we'll see, but I'll come back and update you probably tomorrow. Okay, hello. I didn't anticipate giving you another update tonight. It is currently 12 minutes past 12. Oh, I've not stopped the time. I've only not been reading for a couple of minutes. We've got 8 hours and 56 minutes left, so we're under the 9 hour mark. 9 hour mark, yeah. So fucking tired. I think I'm gonna go up to bed. I'm not even gonna bother watching any of The Last Kingdom tonight. I'm just gonna go up to bed. But I'm here to give you a reading update on Jasper Vale. I'm on page 217, so I've got 120 pages to go. and I am not having a good time. I don't know what's happened with this series. I really loved Indigo Ridge. Juniper Hill has been my favourite. And then the third one, Garnet Flats, wasn't great. I think it got 3 stars. It was not great. This, I am really disliking. Now, initially, I thought it was because of the audiobook. So I am listening to it on audio, which is not a great audiobook, I'm not gonna lie. Lucy Rivers is the female narrator, and then there's a different narrator for the man, for Jasper. And I don't know what it is about him, but I feel like he should be narrating high epic fantasy, you know? Brandon Sanderson or Robin Hobb or I don't know, Bernard Cornwell or something. I don't know what's going on, why he's been picked for this. He does not have I nearly said an attractive voice, and I don't mean it in that sense. I mean it in a sense that he doesn't have a voice for romance. So he's not got the sexiness to his voice, you know, that makes the sex scenes seem really sexy and really drags you in and you're attracted to Jasper. Like, in no way, shape or form am I attracted to this man. He sounds so fucking dull. So the audiobook isn't great. Lucy Rivers is doing an alright job with Eloise. Again, though, the only thing I will say is that when she does Jasper's portions in Eloise's chapters, this is why I loved the Butcher and Blackbird audiobook, because it was great to have the narrators do their own bits, no matter what chapter you're in. But even with this, that wouldn't work because the male narrator is not doing a good job for Jasper. But Lucy Rivers' version, like, voice for Jasper is also not good. And he sounds so fucking dull. I am in no way, shape or form attracted to Jasper. Not even a little bit. Then I realised that this relationship in general, I'm just not enjoying it. To start off with, it's not a marriage of convenience. What turns into a marriage of convenience? No. It's fake dating, but it starts off with a marriage, accidental marriage in Vegas. And I thought we would get more of that situation and then more of how they're feeling immediately, like after it and, you know, a couple of days after it or whatever. We didn't. The wedding happened, we got the following morning, and then we were like, I don't know, a few weeks later or something, or even a month later, and they hadn't spoken to each other. And I was like, why is this so rushed? What is going on here? And this all happened in like the first 2 chapters. And I was like, why is this so rushed? What is the matter? I feel like in this book, we have almost lost the essence of what this series is. So the Eden series follows this family who are the Edens. And the family element to it in the other books, even in Garnet Flats, we had a lot of like family elements. So we had a lot of interaction with the other family members, and I feel like in this one we're just not getting that. We've had a family dinner which was crap, to say the least. Jasper was just really fucking awkward through the family dinner. I think he had a purpose to it, but I still don't know what that is fully. And we're just not getting as many elements. Like in the previous books, we were spending so much more time with the family and it really brought the story together, and we're just not getting that in this book. Not only that, but I feel like, and I don't know if this is done purposely to be perfectly honest, but I feel like Eloise's parents, who I've loved in the previous books, are treating Eloise in a completely different way than they treat the rest of their kids. And I kind of think that that's the point. I think that's the point of this story. Like, she is treated, because I think she's the youngest in the family if I remember correctly, but she's treated that way. She's treated like a child, and I think because she is the youngest in the family, she has always kind of made mistakes repeatedly and stuff, and they treat her like a child still. They treat her with kid gloves, and it comes across massively, and I kind of don't like it. But I feel like that's kind of the point. Like, I think we're meant to feel that way. So fair enough. But this relationship between Jasper and Eloise, I'm just not having a good time with it. I don't understand why Eloise is lowering herself to this level. She deserves so much better. This marriage is just bullshit. This relationship is bullshit. They're going weeks without speaking to each other, days and weeks without speaking to each other. They live under the same roof, and it's just ridiculous. Like, he's just come back off a trip, and she was staying at her sister's because she didn't want to stay in the house on her own without him. So she comes back the following day because she's got some laundry to do and other bits and stuff, and he's there, and she's like, oh hey, she's like really excited to see him, and she's like, when did you get back? And he's like, oh, I got back last night. And she's like, you didn't bother to message or call? And he's like, well, I just thought you were busy, you weren't here. And she was like, I wasn't fucking here because you left at the drop of a hat without even fucking telling me until the minute you were leaving for days on end. Didn't know how long you were going to be gone for, and I went to stay at my sister's. And I was like, yes, you tell him, that is a dick move. And then before I knew it, they were rolling around in bed again, and I was like, this girl just lets so much shit go with him, and I just don't get it. He's so closed off. I feel like there is no connection between them whatsoever other than the sex, and the communication between the pair of them is non-existent. The miscommunication trope is bad in this book. Like, it is here. I mean, it depends on how you look at it. Miscommunication trope is done very well in this book because there is no communication, which is ironic considering what he went to college for. That bit I did chuckle at. This book, I'm not having a good time. And he wants her to go to this wedding. Like, the whole point in keeping up this ruse for a while longer is that he wants her to go to this wedding with him. And the woman in question whose wedding it is keeps calling him and speaking to him and wanting to know about his sexual relationships. And I'm just like, this is so fucking toxic. Like, really toxic. It's toxic for Jasper. It's toxic for Eloise on the basis that she's his wife now. And I'm just like, what is going on in this? Like, what was the aim with this book? What was the point? Eloise deserves so much better. And even when I get to the end of this, I don't care how it ends, even when I get to the end of it, I'm going to feel like she deserves better. And I'm going to be hoping that they break up and she finds someone better. And I know that's not going to be the case. But I'm mad about it. I'm really mad about it because I've been loving this series. Garnet Flats wasn't great, but it was fine. But I've been loving this series, and now I'm sad, and I'm really hoping that it picks up again with Crimson River and Sable Peak. But I'm just really fucking mad. To the point that I'm debating DNF in the fucking book. I literally have 120 pages left, like an hour and 20 minutes of the audiobook left. And I'm just like, do I DNF the book? And I'm really fucking mad. Because I don't know what to do. My glasses won't sit on my head. So I'm gonna go to bed, and I'm gonna come back to this with a fresh thought in the morning. I am debating tomorrow not necessarily reading Cruel Intentions. I am going to get to that book, but I might get to it later on in the week or next week, which will be in my January vlog. But I'm debating actually picking up Powerless by Elsie Silver because I'm guaranteed to like that book, I reckon. Well, I thought that about this one. I'm guaranteed to like that book, and I feel like I deserve to treat myself. Do you know what I mean? So I think I might pick that up tomorrow. I'm just honestly going to see how I feel, but I just want to go to bed. This book has exhausted me. This day in general has exhausted me. I've read for nearly 12 hours straight today with like literally a 20-minute break for my tea while I watched a YouTube video. And that is it. Like, I have read for almost 12 hours straight today. It's probably been actually 11. But yeah, I'm absolutely knackered. I've got 8 hours, just under 9 hours to do tomorrow. I'm going to go to bed now, but I am going to try and get up earlier tomorrow, maybe about 8:30. I need a shower and stuff. And hopefully I can get this challenge wrapped up and also edited tomorrow, fingers crossed. But yeah, I don't know, this is making me really fucking mad though, because I've been having a good time with my books, and I've been making really good progress as well, and I don't want to DNF it because I'm close to the end. I don't have too long left. I would never normally get this far into a book and then DNF. I would usually just be like, well, fuck it, I'll just finish it. But I just truly cannot be arsed. Like, I do not care. And from some of the reviews that I've had a look at on Goodreads, it only gets worse. Because we're not even at the wedding yet. And I just know it's going to get worse. So I just don't know what to do with it. So I'm going to sleep on it, and I will come back to you in the morning and let you know what my decision is, what I've decided to do. It will depend on whether or not I can truly be bothered tomorrow. So we'll see. I'm so fucking mad. Okay, hello, good morning. It is Wednesday. It feels really weird to be home on a Wednesday. I usually work on a Wednesday for my dad, but I've changed those days now to Thursday and Friday. I don't know if that's permanent or not, but while Tara has Luca at home, it makes sense because I can split my time between helping Matt out and helping Tara out with Luca, especially on Thursdays and Fridays, because Thomas isn't at nursery on Thursdays and Fridays. Speaking of Thomas and Luca, do you like my jumper? Andy got me this for Christmas. It says Auntie. And then on the sleeve, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you properly. Let me stand up. It says Thomas and Luca. How cute is that? I love it. I thought I'd put this one on today because why not? I am sweating though, I'm not going to lie. I've just had a shower. It's almost 10 o'clock. And I am here to continue on with this bloody readathon. I don't know why this feels like it's been the longest one yet. I don't know if it's because I'm doing it off the back of Winterween Box and Final Book Support Group, in which I went really hard for all 3 of those readathons, to be honest. It's probably the reason. But 8 hours and 56 minutes. I'm going to be going to Andy's this evening, so I could end up needing to try and finish this off in the car on the way to his. We will see. I have made the decision not to continue with Jasper Vale by Devney Perry, despite the fact that I am only 120 pages away from the end. I just can't do it. I know it's not gonna end the way I want it to, which is for Jasper and Eloise not to be together. And I just think she deserves so much better. I'm not enjoying this. I'm not having a good time. Jasper is so fucking boring. So boring. And a quite toxic person, I'm not gonna lie. I just don't think he will say things to her like, you know, in times of distress where he's like, I think you're beautiful, I've always thought you're beautiful, you're the most beautiful woman in the world. And then when he's in the bedroom with her, when they're sleeping together, he will say things like, you're mine, this is mine, and nobody else's, and no one else gets to touch it. And my brain, instead of going, oh my god, I am dying inside, this is amazing. You know, like when a guy in a book says, you're mine, you are mine, and I'm like, listen, I don't romanticize possession in any way, shape or form, but it's really nice to hear from your partner, you're mine, you know? Not in a sense that you are tied to a chair and you cannot get out, kind of you're mine, but like, you are mine, we are together, I am yours, you are mine. That 100%. In here, it's like he's saying, I only want to sleep with you. That's it. That's all I want from you. I just want to sleep with you. That's it. And that's the only vibe I'm getting from him. And it's really giving me the ick and I don't like it. And I'm really fucking pissed because I've loved this series. Granted, Garnet Flats wasn't great, but I didn't hate it. This, I'm really having a very negative reaction to it. I'm not gonna lie. If negative reactions showed up visibly on my face, I would be covered in hives. I'm like, this is what's going on here. I don't like it and I don't care what happens at the end. You know what I do care about though is the introduction of the next character, because I feel like I need to know what's going on with that. I don't know how. I'm looking at the back now and just, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. I do not want it. I might just read this part of Crimson River, which is like the first part, the introduction. Every book finishes with the introduction to the next book, and it always gets you going for the next book. So I might just read that bit, but otherwise I'm DNFing this book, and I'm really fucking mad about it, like really mad. I can't believe that's my first DNF of the year. I did not anticipate that being my first DNF of the year, and I'm really fucking mad about it, I'm not gonna lie. So on that basis, because I really need to get Shufty on and get something read, on that basis I actually ended up giving my patrons a poll because I couldn't decide what to read next. And I have 2 romances and 2 thrillers. So these are my options. We've got Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score, which is very chonky, but it does help me out with another video. We've got Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson, which is on my 12 books from 12 friends. We have What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall, just cause I'm in the mood for it. And we've got Powerless by Elsie Silver. Now, patrons have I've got 5 votes for Powerless, I've got 2 votes for What Lies in the Woods, and a vote each for Grown and Things We Hide from the Light. I think what I'm actually going to do is these 2. Common sense tells me I should do these 2. I would never finish both of these in that 9 hours, but, because it would take me about 7 hours just to get through this, but because these make sense. This helps me with the next book. This is on my 12 books from 12 friends. However, I need a win right now, a guaranteed win as well, and this is guaranteed. There is no guarantee with Things We Have from the Light, so I need a guaranteed win, and this will light up my life today. I think I need it. I've been dancing in the shower, so that's helped me out a little bit, helped me get over being mad about Jasper Vale, but I've just got myself mad about it again. And then I just really fancy a thriller, so I might just try the first chapter of this, then make a decision with what to do with it. But I actually think I am, do I dive straight into Powerless or What Lies in the Woods? I don't know which is the shorter of the 2. Powerless by 20 minutes. I don't know, I feel like wrapping up with this actually would be really nice. Let's go into What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall. So this one says, they were 11 when they sent a killer to prison. They were heroes, but they were liars. Naomi Shaw used to believe in magic. 22 years ago, she and her 2 best friends, Cassidy and Olivia, spent the summer roaming the woods, imagining a world of ceremony and wonder. The Goddess Game. The game became an obsession and a refuge for the 3 girls. That sanctuary was suddenly shattered when Naomi was attacked. Miraculously, she survived her 17 stab wounds and lived to identify the man who hurt her. The girl's testimony put away a serial killer wanted for murdering 6 women. They were heroes and they were liars. For decades, the friends have kept a secret that might be worth killing for, hidden in the forest, but now Olivia wants to tell the whole story. Then she goes missing and Naomi sets out to find out what really happened in the woods, no matter how dangerous the truth turns out to be. Dun dun dun! Sounds great. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do today. We will see how that goes. I should really read Cruel Intentions because it's on my TBR, but I just really need a win today. So I feel like this is a good direction to go in, maybe. So I'm going to do that. I will keep you posted. I'll let you know how I'm getting on. I really need to get Shufty on because otherwise I'm not even going to finish this challenge today. And I will check back in with you when I have an update for you. Hello, it's a few hours later. It's 4 minutes to 3 in the afternoon. And I have just smashed my way through What Lies in the Woods. This was really, really good. I really enjoyed this. I liked the atmosphere, the writing style was fantastic. I'm definitely excited about picking up more from Kate Alice Marshall. I've been hearing her name a lot and I'm glad I've read this one. This was actually in the Goodreads Choice Award for Thriller this year. And not this year, 2023. Confusion. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I liked the plot and all the different aspects to it. I liked that we were trying to figure out the story with Naomi. She was trying to figure out exactly what happened to her because she doesn't remember what happened to her in the woods. And her 2 friends, Olivia and also Cassidy, they'd been the ones to do the reporting mostly other than her. She was kind of prompted by the police and then the person that was put behind bars, she just had this feeling that something wasn't right and she'd made a mistake. So she was trying to figure out exactly what was going on. She went back to the town. There was a podcaster there that was trying to interview her and ended up helping her out, Ethan. And all the different things that came out, very, very interesting. I really enjoyed it. I thought there was a lot of twists and turns. I did not call who it would be, honestly. I was wrong with my assumption of who it would be. But I had a really good time with this. I really, really enjoyed it. The atmosphere was very, very good. And I am, like I say, looking forward to picking up more from Kate Alice Marshall this year. There is a book from her, actually, that's coming out this year. I can't remember if I've got it pre-ordered or not. Let's have a quick look. I do not. I think I wanted to read this one first to see whether or not I liked her writing style before I pre-ordered it, but No One Can Know is coming out this year in February, so I'll probably keep my eyes peeled for that one and get a copy of it. But yeah, really enjoyed this one. It got 4.5 stars on Corpile, so 4 on Goodreads, and I had a good time. And on the clock we have 4 hours and 11 minutes left, and I'm going to go into Powerless. Now if I listen to this on 2 to 2.5 speed, I will get through this in 4 hours and 10 minutes. So it is down to the wire. Not only that, but on my time in general, I am down to the wire. So it's almost 3 o'clock and Andy finishes work at 7, which gets me 4 hours and 10 minutes, gets me to 7:10 if I do not pause this at all and just listen to it solidly for the next 4 hours and 10 minutes, which is what I did with this. Other than, actually no, I didn't even pause it taking trash into the bin because I put my headphones on. So yeah, the next 4 hours and 10 minutes will be solidly spent listening to this. I'll probably have to listen to it in the car on my way to Andy's and then listen to it a little bit while I'm at his. He should get home for around 7:15, so I should get this finished before he turns up. We will find out. But yeah, so I'm going to go into this one. This will be my last one of the readathon. I could listen to something shorter. I could go into Grown instead, but I'm really in the mood for Powerless. Have I had a 5-star yet for this reading vlog? I don't think I have. I usually have really good time with these reading vlogs, and I have had a good time with it, but my reading is usually pretty good as well. The books I end up picking up are usually pretty good because I know my reading taste really, really well, and therefore I'm usually guaranteed like a 4 or 5 star because of that. And because I tend to go for the likes of like series that I know well, the Eden series, that I cannot believe I've DNF'd that book. Like, I'm not mad at myself for DNFing it, I'm glad I've done it, but I'm mad at the book. Still mad at the book. Done and Dusted was 3 stars. It was fine, but it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. Badlands was 4.5. And The Couple Next Door was also 3 stars, which, you know, again, it was fine, but I just feel like I haven't had, and this one was 4.5. So I've had a couple of good books, 2 4.5 stars, 2 3 stars and a DNF, but I'm just sad that I haven't had a 5-star read yet. So here's to hoping that this will do that. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It is what it is. But yeah, progress is being made, so I am going to go. I've been really, really productive while listening to that as well. I've taken a load of Instagram pictures. I've got like the next week's worth of Instagram pictures taken and edited and on my scheduler thing with all of the texting ready to go, so I just need to post them. That's it. I've been transferring stuff from my computer to my external hard drive because I've got way too many videos on there now that need transferring, so I've been doing that. I've tidied up a bit. I've done the recycling. I need to go downstairs and do the pots and carry on tidying the kitchen, but I wanted to do up here first. So I'm up to date. Actually, I need to update it now for What Lies in the Woods, but I've done some journaling as well. So yeah, I need to pack my bags and I need to go downstairs and clean the kitchen. I actually need to eat something as well because I haven't done that yet. And at some point I am going to have to go to the supermarket on the way to Andy's as well, so that could delay me even further. So I need to get going because it's 3:05. No, it's not. It's 2 minutes past 3 already. So I need to go and make a start on this. But I will check back in with you and I've got something to update you on. Okay, hello, I'm here to wrap up this vlog finally. It is Sunday, and this vlog is hopefully going up this evening because I have nothing else to go up if it doesn't. So fingers crossed. I haven't even started editing it. I have started putting the footage into the editor, but I haven't started editing it. So I'm here to wrap this up and let you know exactly what I managed to read. I got through 6 books, one of which was a DNF. I'm still not over it, I'm not gonna lie. So very quickly, I did read Done and Dusted by Lila Sage, which I gave 3 stars. This was fine. I didn't feel like the stakes were high in this one because we didn't get enough interaction between Luke and Gus, the best friends, who, you know, Gus is Emmy's brother and she is in love with Luke. So hence the best friends to look, sorry, her brother's best friend, Jesus Christ, hence the brother's best friend. The stakes weren't high enough for me, but the ADHD representation in here was fantastic. So if you're looking for a book with good ADHD representation, I would recommend this one. It was good, just wasn't great. So I didn't hate it. Then we have The Couple Next Door by Shari Lapino, which again I gave 3 stars to. Again, similar kind of, not that the stakes weren't high, but similar kind of vibe. This was the sort of story that told you everything in the middle that was happening, and then there were a couple of twists at the end to add on to that, and I prefer to know nothing until the end. Just reveal it all at the end. Let me make it all up as I'm going along. I'm not telling you any more than that because this will be featured in another video in the future where you will get a full review of this, but 3 stars for this one. Then I did read Badlands, which is Savage Lands book 4, after suddenly realising that Bloodlands was not the next book I was up to, because I am dumb. I loved this one. This was great. 4.5 stars I think it was on Corpile. I really enjoyed this one. I'm loving this series. It's very, very good, and the stakes are high in this one. So having a great time with this one. Very excited to get on to Bloodlands next month. Finally get to that book. Then we had Jasper Vale by Devney Perry. This is going to be in my most disappointing books of 2024, I already know it. I am gutted about this. I had 120 pages to go and I just couldn't force myself to finish it because it was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Jasper was a complete fucking jerk and I could not stand him, and on that basis, on the basis that I knew how the book was going to end in a happily ever after for Eloise and Jasper, because it's a romance, come on, I could not bring myself to see how that ended. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I knew that there was probably going to be some manipulation from Jasper's ex in here when they got to the wedding that they need to get to, that is mentioned on the back of the book. And I just couldn't do it anymore. I could not do it. He was an emotional, spineless prick and I couldn't stand him. Eloise has been done so dirty in this book. She deserves so much better. I don't even care how he turns it all around at the end. I do not care, because too much has gone on in this book for me to be like, you know what, yes. I'm not even attracted to the man. I just don't care. I had to DNF it. I'm so sad. I'm looking forward to continuing on with Crimson River next, but I'm really, really sad about it. And there was a lack of like the family side of things that we've had in the first 3 books in this one as well. So I'm really sad about it. I'm not convinced that anything's going to top Juniper Hill for me with this series. And I really, really hope that from Garnet Flats onwards we're not just going downhill, because I didn't love Garnet Flats either, but it was much better than this. So yeah, DNF for that. First DNF of the year. Devastated. Absolutely devastated. And then I can't remember what I've told you in this vlog, what I then moved on to from that point, because those were the 4 books that I was aiming to read for this vlog, because I wanted to get through my TBR. So I still had like Way of Kings and Cruel Intentions on there, and I should have gone for Cruel Intentions really, but I haven't done it, and that's fine. I needed a pick-me-up after Jasper Vale because I was really feeling down in the dumps about it. It really got me actually, and I was really unimpressed with that book. So I then decided to do a little bit of a poll. I gave it to my patrons, and 2 of the books that did win, because I had like 9 hours left and I knew I could get through 2 books if I really pushed myself. So one of the ones was What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall, which I really enjoyed. It was very, very good. A lot of twists and turns and I had a good time with it. I'm fairly certain I updated you on this and told you what it was about. So it was about 3 girls that sent a serial killer to prison when they were 11 years old. One of the girls was attacked, Naomi, and the other 2 girls were Cassidy and Olivia, and they were with her at the time when she was attacked. Now, many years have gone by and this serial killer has now passed away, and Naomi, they actually come together to essentially celebrate what has happened, but also Naomi is in doubt as to whether or not what they told the police at the time was the truth, and Olivia would like to tell the police the truth, exactly what happened. And what's the other girl called again? Cassidy is completely against this. She's like, no, there's no need, it's happened now, he's dead, it doesn't matter. And Naomi's trying to figure out exactly what's going on with this. There is a podcaster in here. There's not specifically a podcast element to it, but there is a podcaster in here as well, and this was really, really interesting. I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 4 stars. It was good and I had a good time. Intrigued to pick up more from Kate Alice Marshall in the future. I suddenly realised that I actually have another Kate Alice Marshall on my TBR, Rules for Vanishing. This one does have a podcast element in it, I believe, so very excited to get to this one now, and I am intrigued to pick up her new one that's coming out later on this year and maybe go to some of her backlists as well, because I did enjoy that. It was very good. And then last but by no means least, I did pick up Powerless by Elsie Silver. Elsie Silver. I really needed a pick-me-up after Jasper Vale. It really got me down that I hated that book so much. It was so bad, and I just don't understand how the 4th book in a series can be so bad. Like, the characters are all set up, they're all there for you, ready to go. You're just introducing one more person. I just don't get it. So anyway, I went on to Powerless, which ironically enough, the MMC is called Jasper. So I now needed a turnaround with this. I needed a good Jasper in my life, and boy did this book give me that. This rivals Heartless. I'm not gonna lie, this was so fucking good. Jasper is a hockey player, professional hockey player, and we also have Sloane. Sloane? Yes. He nicknames her Sunny, and it's adorable. And they are best friends to lovers. Now, basically what happened is Sloane's got this really big family in which we essentially follow the family. She is a cousin of said family that we have previously followed in the first 2 books, and when she was younger, she went to the ranch visiting with her parents. She comes from money. And she went to the ranch visiting with her parents to go and see her cousins and her uncle, and she fell in love with the place. She absolutely loved it. Now we fast forward some period in time and she's getting married, and Jasper is the only one out of the whole family that can go to the wedding. Now, Jasper's backstory is that his parents were dirtbags and they never really cared for him, and Harvey, the dad of said family, takes Jasper in as his own because he's best friends with the brothers. So he takes Jasper on as his own. So Jasper's grown up with this entire family. So he's deemed kind of family, but he's not family, obviously, by blood. So there is a lot of piss taken out of them with the fact that he's, obviously as the book goes on, there's a lot of piss taken out of him with the fact that he's dating his cousin, which is not the case, because they're not related. It's just that Harvey has brought Jasper up. So anyway, Jasper's the only one out of the family that can go to this wedding of Sloane's. Now, she ends up running away from this wedding right at the last minute, down to the wire. This man has been chosen for her by her father. She wants nothing to do with him. He is an absolute pig. And she runs away from it, and Jasper ends up taking her back to the ranch, and she ends up staying there for a while. In the meantime, some shit goes down then within the family with one of the brothers. I don't want to spoil it because it's not mentioned on the back. So he's being there for her with this whole breakup thing with her wedding, which quite frankly she honestly doesn't really give a shit about. She's just a bit embarrassed. And then now she's being there for him while all of this shit goes on with one of the brothers from the family. And it's just beautiful. I loved this. It was so good. I just loved it. I really loved this book. It was so good. And I just had a fantastic time with it. Jasper and Sloane are beautiful people. I love them both to death. And I really enjoyed this. And like I say, this could rival Heartless. I can't remember if I've run it through Corpile or not. It obviously got 5 stars. In fact, I have. But I don't know if it got a higher rating than Heartless or not. But it can rival Heartless. And if it's not in front of Heartless. It's definitely up there, either on par or right behind it. I absolutely love this one. It was so, so good. So I'm very excited to continue on with this series. Not so much with the Eden series, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I managed to complete 6 books in this challenge, one of which was a DNF, but almost right at the very end. Do I wish I'd finished Jasper Vale just to finish the book? Maybe, but I just, because of the type of book it is, if it had been a fantasy or a horror or a thriller, I'd have probably pushed myself through it. But because it's a romance and I know how it's going to end, and I do not want that ending, no way, shape or form do I want that ending, I just couldn't force myself to do it, because no matter what, I wouldn't have been happy with the situation, with the outcome. So I just couldn't force myself to do it. Will I go back and potentially finish it if I'm in a better headspace? Maybe. But right now, no thank you. I don't care. So yeah, I'm really happy. Managed to get through the 4 books I wanted to get through that were left on my TBR. Still now just got The Way of Kings and also Cruel Intentions. So Cruel Intentions won't take me too long to get through. I actually found the audiobook on Scribd, which is fantastic, and it's not too long. And I'm making my way at the moment through The Way of Kings. So progress is being made, and with any luck, I could actually finish my January TBR this month and also have additional books on there, because What Lies in the Woods and Powerless were not on my January TBR. So that's fantastic news, and I can continue on with this pretty little series. Look how pretty that is. I am obsessed. Anywho, I am gonna go, my throat's actually, my voice is hurting and I'm not sure why, it's getting a bit croaky, but I am gonna go. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Chat to me in the comments down below. Have you read any of these? Have you read Jasper Vale? Do you have any opinions on it? Is it worth me finishing it off? Because right now I'm never going to, but I could be forced to change my mind. So yeah, I'm gonna go, and I shall see you in whatever comes next. Bye for now.